You know how sometimes you just want to really get something, like understand it properly, but without getting totally swamped by all the info?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what we try to do here on the deep dive. Cut through the noise, get to the heart of it.
And today, we're zooming in on a really intriguing watch, the Ming 37.02 Ghost. We've been digging into what makes it special, its design, the choices behind it.
Right. And Ming, for anyone maybe not familiar, they're this independent brand, Malaysian, popped up around 2017 and got noticed pretty fast.
They really did. Known for this very clean, modern look, almost minimalist sometimes.
Yeah, and what's cool is you see that common thread, that sort of Ming style, across their whole range, from simple watches to, like, complex chronographs.
Absolutely. And this one, the 37.02 Ghost, it builds on an earlier model, the 37.02 Minimalist. Takes that base and looks at it, well, differently.
So our mission today.
Basically, to unpack what makes the Ghost unique. We're going to look at the design thinking, the materials, that's a big one here, and the technical side, too.
Okay, cool. Let's start with the name. You've got Ming, then the numbers, 37.02. Doesn't exactly scream creativity, does it?
No, not initially, maybe. But then there's the ghost part.
Right, the ghost. And that actually tells you quite a bit,
It
surprisingly.
really does. Ghost immediately points towards, well, lightness, doesn't it? And this kind of overall gray, almost translucent feel. It's not accidental. It sets a tone.
Sets expectations. And it's part of their 37 series. What are the, like, defining features of that series generally?
Good question. The 37 series usually means a 38mm case size, which is pretty versatile. And they have these complex curves on the case sides.
Okay.
Plus a pretty chunky crown, notched, easy to grip. And these lugs, they call them the pagoda style. They flare out quite distinctively.
Pagoda lugs. Got it. Creates a recognizable silhouette, I guess.
Definitely. Now, the material for the Ghost, this is where it gets really central to the story. Grade 2 titanium.
Okay, grade 2 titanium. For those of us not up on our metallurgy, what's the deal with grade 2 versus, say, other types?
All right, so grade 2 is basically very pure titanium, like 99.8% pure, can test it for corrosion resistance. But, and this is the key thing, it's more ductile than grade 5 titanium, which you see more often in watches. Ductile meaning it bends more easily, lower elastic modulus.
So it's more flexible. Deforms more easily if you stress it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Less springy than grade 5, which, means you have to machine it differently.
Yeah.
It presents challenges.
Okay.
And the other big thing with grade 2, you just can't polish it. Not to a mirror shine anyway.
Okay, that sounds like it would have a massive impact on the final look.
It totally does. It forces a different aesthetic because you can't polish it shiny. They had to embrace, well, texture. The source calls it an architecturally finished aesthetic.
Architecturally finished. What does that mean in practice? Lots of brushing.
Precisely. Lots of brushing. It's a very conscious choice, apparently driven by Ming Thein himself, celebrating the material's texture instead of hiding it under polish.
And that's not just the case, right? They used it elsewhere.
Yeah, case, dial, even the buckle. All grade 2 titanium. It gives the whole thing this really cohesive, matte sort of look, though maybe not just matte.
Oh, how so? Did they vary the brushing?
They did. Very cleverly, actually. On the dial center, it's circular brushing, creates this nice texture.
Okay.
But then on the sloping chapter ring, or flange, around the edge, that's got radial brushing lines going out from the center.
So different directions.
Right. And the interesting bit is, even though it's brushed and not polished, these surfaces catch the light in a really dynamic way. You get these surprisingly bright, almost shimmering spots. It's not dull at all.
Huh. That's smart, working with the material's limitations to create something interesting.
Exactly. And speaking of light, it does something cool in the dark, too. The Lume.
Oh, yeah. Standard lume on the hands.
Hands, yes. Superluminova X1.
Yeah.
But also, and this is quite unusual, they applied it to the underside of the crystal.
Under the crystal. How does that work?
Well, it means the light sort of reflects down, causing the brush dial itself to glow this soft blue color.
Whoa, so the whole dial surface glows.
Pretty much. The brush texture picks up the light, enhances legibility, obviously, but really adds to that whole ghost vibe,
Yeah, definitely sounds ghostly. Now, titanium, we said it's light. How light are we talking here?
We are talking really light. The whole watch head is just 35 grams.
35 grams. That's, wow.
Yeah. I mean, it might not be the absolute lightest watch ever made, but for a mechanical watch of this size, it's incredibly light on the wrist. You'd barely notice it's there.
That must make a huge difference to wearing comfort, all thanks to that grade 2 titanium.
Absolutely. It's a defining characteristic.
Okay, so unique look from the material, very lightweight. But there was something else that jumped out from the details. The water resistance. It says 100 meters, but there's a story there.
Ah, yes. This is quite interesting. So officially it's rated 100 meters. Standard stuff.
Right.
But apparently, during their internal testing, the watch actually withstood pressure equivalent to 260 meters depth.
Wait, 260? That's way more. Why print 100 then?
Well, the text mentions it was kind of an inside joke to their engineering paranoia.
Engineering paranoia, what does that mean?
It likely relates to the domed crystals they use. They're designed to be pressure balanced, distributing stress evenly. So they probably knew it could handle more, but maybe just played it super safe with the official rating.
Huh. That's quirky. An over-engineered watch then.
In a good way, perhaps.
Yeah.
Certainly robust. Always interesting when specs are exceeded in reality.
Definitely adds a bit of character. Okay, let's flip it over. There's a display case back, right? What movement is inside?
Yep, you can see the movement. It's a customized Sellita SW300-1 automatic.
Sellita SW300, that's like an alternative to the ETA 2892, isn't it? Pretty solid.
Exactly. Reliable, well-regarded workhorse movement. But Ming's done some work on it visually.
Oh yeah, what kind of work?
They've skeletonized the bridges and plates, so they've cut away some material to let you see more of the gears and things moving underneath.
Ah, gives it that technical look.
Right. And they've given those parts an anthracite coating. It's this dark gray color, looks quite modern, contrasts nicely with any metallic parts still visible.
Nice touch. And the performance specs, how does it run?
Pretty standard, good specs. Beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour. That's 4 hertz. Gives you a smooth sweep second hand. And the power reserve is around 45 hours.
Solid, dependable, with some visual flair. Fits the overall picture.
I think so, yeah.
All right, so if someone's listening and thinking, this ghost sounds pretty neat, what's the situation with getting one?
Well, key thing is it's a limited edition. Only
Yeah.
250 pieces are being made.
250 worldwide. Okay, pretty exclusive.
Yep. The price is 3,500 Swiss francs, and you can get it either directly from Ming's website, ming.watch, or through their authorized dealers.
And are they available now, or is it a pre-order?
The good news is deliveries are meant to start immediately. So if you manage to snag one, you shouldn't have a long wait.
Good to know. Okay, so let's kind of wrap this up then. After this deep dive, what really stands out about the Ming 37.02 Ghost?
For me, it really comes down to how the material dictated the design. They didn't fight the properties of grade 2 titanium, they leaned into them.
Right. The fact it can't be polished wasn't a bug, it was a feature.
Exactly. It led to this unique, brushed architectural aesthetic. And combined with the lightness, it creates a very specific wearing experience. Plus, that bonus water resistance is a nice testament to the build quality.
It feels like a different kind of luxury watch, maybe. Less about bling and shine, more about material integrity and clever design.
I think that's a great way to put it. It's thoughtful design, driven by the material itself.
Yeah, it really makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How often do we just look at something and see the surface gray watch, okay, without considering why it looks that way?
True. The material choices fundamentally shape things, not just how they look, but sometimes, like with the water resistance here, what they can unexpectedly do.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Next time you pick up an object, any object really, maybe take a second. Think about what it's made of and how that choice might influence everything else about it.
Yeah, look beyond the surface. You might be surprised what stories the materials themselves can tell.